guys, welcome to Space Monkey, and today we want to just go to the third part of this exhibition booth design. So we'll be doing the lighting and texturing in this video, and then the rendering as well. So you guys just follow me. And so before we move to the texturing, there's something very important we need to do. In your exhibition file, your design, your C40 file, you need to go and create something called the TEX. You need to create the TEX. So now your TEX is your texture folder. It is very important because then this is where Cinema 4D stores all your textures, and you will not lose any of your textures or any of your designs look when you're probably taking it, like saving it to another folder or something. There's a way you save and then you still have your textures intact. So let's just proceed. First, we'll be doing the lighting, the lights that we have at the top there and the ones here before we proceed to texturing them. Alright, so let's just move ahead. Let's see, how many lights do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think there's a 6th one around there. So that's about 6 lights. Spotlight, rectangular one. So I would do our own as well. It's a spotlight, right? So you don't have to sweat it. It's pretty easy. So I'm connecting objects right there, and let's say 5 inches. 5 inches. That's quite too small. Let's do 1 foot. 1 foot. Okay. And still have to reduce this. And we need to create an inset. Just right click on the surface there, and then we create an inset. Okay, so now we are selecting our V-ray light, rectangular light, and we would need to make sure right there at the surface. We're rotating by 90. This arrow is telling you where the light direction is. So the light is actually direction is downwards now. So we place it where we need it to be as a light source. You can just say 1 foot, 1 foot, I guess. 1 foot. Yeah. Okay, so we group that together and name it light source. And now we clone it. Just duplicate, clone. So like I explained earlier, the reason we are using cloner here without using the instance is because we want it to have equal spacings between them, like it is well arranged between them. So okay, this looks nice, right? Yeah, so that's how to go about that. And now I have to do the same like here. and here, and I think we have 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have 3 on each of those. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this. Use it to 3, and then we rotate. You can agree with me that the size of the spotlight we have there looks the same as the size we have here, but it's looking too big for what we have here, right? So we just reduce that way. And we increase the spacing in between them. Yes. So now this clone we have here is obstructing that part, so we need to adjust the width of the clone, and that does it. Bring it back out. I think a few more centimeters. Okay, so that's perfect. And now you can add this, and then now we can use the instance instead of just duplicating. Exactly. Now we can use our instance. So for here, I think we need to reduce it a bit as well and make it close to the top. Also to increase the distance between. All right, so we are here. This is what we want. We already have our lightning set. It didn't take that much, but we still need to adjust it for the light. We need to adjust how strong we want our light to be. It's very important. I use watts, and then I'm going to use about 150 watts. That's it. So now, because we cloned this part, all the lights have the same parameters, same thing with this one. And for the instance part, you have the same thing. So you need not to be changing each one after the other. So now it's time to create textures, to add textures. But before adding textures, we need to set our renders view so that every texture you are adding, you know this texture is V-Ray texture. You can see there are some texture in your file already based on some things that were imported. Like this flower vase comes with V-Ray textures saved in your folder already. Now this, you see, once I click on the object, you see the textures right there. Once I click the object, you see the textures. Now the reason you have these textures not showing just like this one is because they are not default C4D texture. They are default C4D texture, but they are not V-Ray textures. Now we are working with V-Ray, not Redshift, not any other textures. The reason they are showing that way is because they are not the regular V-Ray textures. And here we need to come here and change this red shift to V-Ray. You can see very clearly now that everything has gone dark. Yes, because they are not V-Ray textures. None of those textures is previewing now. I'm going to change this to 4. So this is the max render time, because we are using progressive rendering, and it's totally different from bucket rendering. If you are into Cinema 4D and you do renders, you should understand the difference between bucket and progressive rendering. I have a video where I explain the difference between bucket rendering and progressive rendering, but I like to use progressive rendering. Yeah. And then I come here, my denoiser, I like to use an NVIDIA AI denoiser. All right, that's all we need to do. Sorry, one more thing, I like to have the render to be quite big. Okay, I think we are good to go with texturing here. All right, so we start with the floor. In trying to texture, you see it's a wooden tile texture for that floor. It's a wooden tile texture which is quite much available in our Cosmos browser. So Cosmos browser is another place where you can get assets in Cinema 4D. Sometimes you can search from your Cosmos browser if you need assets to bring into your C4D, instead of going to your 3D warehouse or Trader. You can just use assets from your 3D warehouse. And okay, so I'm doing that wood flooring. So I think we have the floor to have something like that, or this. So we have to wait for the download to be done. But before that, I think there's one more thing we are missing, and that is the flower. I think we have it, the plants, the potted plants here, and we bring that one in as well. Here, yes, and so we'll get that in our Cosmos browser, and actually you get it in our Cosmos browser, and we'll be good to go. So we just wait for the download to be done. I think this one is done. Let's wait for this one to be done as well. Okay, so let's bring it in. As you can see, we already have it there. Now I'm going to select the surface and then apply. As you can see, we have our textures there, but that's not satisfactory. I'm going to change this from UV mapping, because we did not UV wrap our model. I'm going to do cubic, and then I'm going to do seamless, so you can see. So we can actually reduce this further by, let's say, 60%. Now here on the y-axis, actually 60%, right? No, yeah, here. Okay, yeah, this looks more like it. Then we need to brand the floor, the edge of this floor, our red color. All right, so now we are going to create a 4D file, and Yeah, you don't want too much reflection on that part. So I'll just select invert selection. I need it to select all other parts of the floor apart from that place that is already selected. So we have this now. Yes, we are getting there. So another thing you can do while selecting your flooring or your color is this. I can use my picker tool to pick which parts I want that color to be. You can actually do the same in Cinema 4D, but I just like to do it here actually. Okay, so doing this exactly. Oh, sorry, that's the reflectance I'm adding to. Need the reflectance to still be white. Yeah, this is where I want to add that color. Cool. Okay, that works well. So here, I think the interior part is red as well, so we'll do that here as well. I'm going to click this. You hold down your shift to click the surface you want to be red, and this part need it to be red as well, up to here. Yeah, exactly. And I need this part as well to be in the same color. I do not need this here, so we will add it to that part of it. So see, I'm going to reduce this. And this to go in. Okay. All right, so that's fine. Okay, so we want the color texture. You can see the reflection on this part of the model is not as strong. And all right. same for what we have here, and the same for here. Okay, and same thing for this part. Mhm. Okay, awesome. So here we would need a different type of lightning. You can see that very clearly from what we have here. It's a different type of lightning, and all we'll need to do is to split. Yeah. So for this, extrude, and extrude. Oh, sorry. Let's do it this way. Um, we need to create the cap. Yeah. And this needs to, okay. So we're going to do this here. Put this right on top of this, exactly. And select that same surface. And you use this light material, and I think it's 7. Yeah. It's there. So now we have our light material right there. I was going to use a mesh light before, but then I realized it would have to, the light is not coming out from this part, it's only coming out from under that space there. Okay, so we need more wooden material. This one they have the texture here. And then we do this here as well. And then we put here as well. So for the sofas, we need to move to that part now. We would, okay, go to fabric. I'm going to select the white fabric since we're working with the white here. Then we put it here. You can see that the material part of that model is blacked out as well. So just put them. Yeah, just that way. So we can just, okay, I think for this parts under, it has to be metal, like a metal part. So for the other part, we can actually just select and we had the same material. See? So you notice that I am adding material to this one, but then it is reflecting on this as well because this is an instance of this. So that is why we were using instance earlier. So we need to also get material for the metal part. Materials, metal. I love to use the iron glory. Yeah. I'll use it for that part. So now we have that sorted. We did that for the table as well. This is the table. So we will use the iron glory. So sometimes when you see this triangle, when you want to know which parts the material is being used in your model, so you just double click on the triangle, get he highlights that part for you. So for these parts, I just want to use a rubber texture, rubber material. Rubber. Yes. I think that works. And for the other part, we use the same metal. Okay, I'll just put this one there. So this part of this table, I think we should just use acrylic, a dark acrylic. So I'm going to select material, plastic. Need it to be black. Okay, this is okay. It's quite glossy. And we can just bring in the metal glass, the glass material we would use for that top part. And I'm going to use gel glass. So here, I'm putting this, while here we have this. So, and if you observe right here, it's exactly the same. So we are going to put this one in the group of that center table so that we have it show up in the instance. Let me zoom out so you see. So it's going to show up in the instance. You see, this is the instance, and this is the actual stuff. So it is showing up just because I dropped it in. Now let's continue. I think we need to change the wooden texture here, because here it looks a little lighter. So I'm going to just do that. Wood. I think this is lighter. Yeah, this. Okay, so we apply that. You can just put it on to avoid double texturing. Awesome. So that works well. So here for this other part of the software, we want to know. Oh, okay. So quite easy. Just apply the white fabric, and then for this part, see. Oh, okay. The metal part. All right. Now it is settled. So we are left with this one, and so for this one, I picked this asset from one of my exhibition. So it's already came with materials that are V-Ray compatible, V-Ray materials precisely. So we don't need to rework those. But for this one, so I'm going to come here, delete unused material. So we still have these two materials, which is what was used in this area. So I'm going to get to this one. Let me see. So it's basically just the white material that was used today. And we are going to do the same. We're going to do the same. Yeah, it's a little bit of, yeah, exactly. So we drop this in here, and it works well. Now let's get to the asset area. So remember I mentioned that this material was, this model itself was unwrapped. So we would need to unwrap. We'll need to edit the unwrapped textures for us to be able to get the actual hold up. Okay, for us to be able to get the changes we need. So this is the text difference, texture diffuse, texture height. So now this model was done with PBR rendering, public based rendering. So it has a different kind of texture process. There's diffuse, there's the height, there's the metal, there's the normal, there's the occlusion, and then there is the rough. I would create a video separately to explain this PBR based rendering structure. So we are going to work with the difference, diffuse. Sorry, why do I keep calling it difference? Okay. So this part, I believe is the part where we want to edit this particular part that is having a greenish texture. That's the part we want to edit. And what do we want to do to that part? We just want to change it to white. So that's the part we would just want to change to white. No other thing, no other stress. So I would prefer we do that in Photoshop. If you use Photoshop, you can just proceed with that. So now we have it changed. So now just note, if you want a red chair, you change that part to red instead of changing it to white like I did. You change it to red. Here you can see it's changed to white already. If you change to red, then your chair comes out in red. You can see. Let me, for the benefit of learning, let me show you what happens if that particular part is changed to red. To change to another color instead. Let's say I'm changing to red. Sorry. Okay. Just trying to show you what happens if I am changing that part to red. So let's see. I'll just come here and then I'll reload. Oh, sorry. I'll come here. I'll go back to download. So basically, because I do not want to affect what we have there before, I'm going to rename this to 1. And then we'll use that one. You can see the difference now. So that's the explanation for that. Now let's go back to the other one. And I want everything to be in white. Okay, so that's that. Now we need to focus on the brandings. That's what we need to do now. And this script part. So we have this part, the sides here and here. We would work on that now. So you can create a spline or a text for this. Okay, so this is a picture. This is just a picture, a flat image. These two are flat image. This is also a flat image that was used for the branding, but this is I think this is extruded, while this below is a flat image. Yeah, I think these two are extruded with a light behind them. There's some form of lightning behind them. Yeah, and same with let me see. Looks like this is extruded as well, and this is extruded. So we will create this shape, this extrusion in CorelDRAW, and then we'll import as a spline. If you want to know how to do that, you can check one of my videos. I have them in the videos where to bring in, you create a spline in CorelDRAW and then you bring it into Cinema 4D. So let's just proceed with that.